So now let me tell you the basic rules that you need to follow to convert a sentence from its active form to passive voice. The object of active voice is made the subject of the passive voice. ஒரு சென்டென்ஸை அதனுடைய passive voiceல மாத்தும்போ அந்த active voice உடைய object தான் passive voice உடைய subject ஆகும். The object in a sentence with active voice will be applied to its passive voice in the format by plus the subject. நம்ம இதுக்கு முன்னாடி பார்த்த எக்ஸாம்பிளை எடுத்துக்கலாம். Ram plays cricket. இந்த சென்டென்ஸை passive voiceல மாத்தும்போது the sentence will become cricket is played by Ram. அந்த active voice sentenceல subjectா இருக்கிற Ram அப்படிங்கிற noun passive voiceல எழுதும்போ by plus the subject அப்படின்னு வருது. When we convert a sentence from its active to passive voice, there will be no change in tense. ஒரு சென்டென்ஸை அதனுடைய active voiceல இருந்து passive voiceக்கு மாத்தும்போ tenses change ஆகாது. When we convert a sentence from its active voice to passive voice, the sentence must contain an object. So sentences which contain intransitive words cannot be converted into its passive voice. நம்ம முன்னாடியே படிச்சோம் intransitive verbs அப்படிங்கிறது they are words which do not take a direct object. For example, verbs like sit, went or come are intransitive verbs. As I told you, intransitive verbs don't take any direct object. அதனால அந்த sentences நம்மளால passive voiceல convert பண்ண முடியாது. When we convert an imperative sentence to its passive voice, most of the time we make use of the word let. The passive voice of the imperative sentences will start with the word let. For example, if I have to convert the sentence open the door to its passive voice, the sentence will be let the door be opened. இது இல்லாம இந்த sentences you are requested or you are instructed அப்படி கூட ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணலாம். And when you convert a sentence from its active voice to passive voice, you can drop the vague subject in its passive form. For example, if I say this sentence, I was called by somebody. In the sentence by somebody அப்படிங்கிறது omit பண்ணாலும் there is no mistake. இது இல்லாம other indefinite pronouns like someone, nobody or no one இதெல்லாம் sentencesல பார்த்தா you can omit them. There is no mistake. So இப்போ வரைக்கும் நம்ம ஒரு சென்டென்ஸ்ல ஒரு சப்ஜெக்ட் இருந்தா அந்த சென்டென்ஸ் எப்படி passive voiceல மாத்துறது அப்படினு பார்த்தோம். So now we will be dealing with transformation of sentences from its active to passive voice with two objects. இந்த டாபிக் படிக்கிறதுக்கு you should be aware of direct and indirect objects which we learned previously, but we'll have a quick recap on what this is. The direct object in a sentence will be the noun which is acted upon. It answers the question what or who. Nouns or pronouns will be the direct objects, whereas in case of indirect objects, they are those objects in a sentence which will be the recipient or receiver of the direct object. It could be the optional object in the sentence. It answers the question to whom. So now let's see some examples to differentiate direct and indirect objects. The magician threw her a rose. In the sentence pathingena, the magician is the subject, threw is the verb, and when you ask the question what, a rose is the answer. The magician threw what? So in the sentence a rose is the direct object, and on asking the question to whom, the answer will be her. The magician threw a rose to whom? So in the sentence, her is the indirect object. Similarly is the next sentence, John gave me a ring. In the sentence, John is the subject, gave is the verb, and when you ask the question what, John gave what, a ring is the answer. So that is the direct object. And me is the answer when you ask the question to whom. John gave a ring to whom? So me is the indirect object. The next example is we sent the newlyweds a bouquet. In the sentence when you ask the question what, we sent what? The answer will be a bouquet. So a bouquet is the direct object, and when you ask we sent a bouquet to whom, the newlyweds is the answer. That's why that is the indirect object. In the fourth example, my new ring is the direct object. The reason is it answers the question what. I showed what, and her is the indirect object because it answers the question to whom. I showed my new ring to whom. The last one, the manager asked him the project. In this sentence, the project is the direct object as it answers the question what, and him is the indirect object as it answers the question to whom. Now moving on to transformation of sentences with two objects from its active voice to its passive voice. Let's look at this with an example. She gave me a watch as birthday gift. Now it's your turn. Try identifying the direct object and indirect object in this sentence. Okay, so in this sentence, she is the subject, gave is the verb, a watch is the direct object, and why is that? It answers the question what. Me is the indirect object because it answers the question to whom. In the sentence here, reorder panni, you can write it in another way, which is also in its active voice. She gave a watch as birthday gift to me. So when you convert both of these sentences to its passive voice, the sentence will become a watch was given to me as birthday gift by her. In the sentence here, by her is optional. It's not wrong if you omit that. And the other answer is I was given a watch as birthday gift by her. Again, in this case, by her is optional. Now we'll see the transformation of sentences with compound direct objects. Compound direct object அப்படிங்கிறது என்னன்னா two objects joining together forming a direct object as a whole. For example, sentences like she gave me a watch and ring as birthday gift. In the sentence there, a watch and ring is the direct object. It is an example of compound direct object. So now let's convert a sentence with a compound direct object to its passive form. The sentence is I received a gold ring and silver bracelet today. In the sentence la pathina, a gold ring and silver bracelet is the compound direct object. So in the sentence in passive form, you can write it in two ways. The first way is a gold ring and silver bracelet was received by me today. And the second way of writing is a gold ring and silver bracelet was received today by me. In both of these cases, you can omit by me and that causes no difference.